So Stanford, Troy Taylor back for his second season as head coach. Stanford's had 3 consecutive 3-9 years. And I will say, as far as Troy Taylor goes, dude really didn't have much to work with. If you remember, there was like a panic with the Stanford program before last year. No one wanted the job because like the Pac-12 was dissolving, and it was like they didn't have a head coach like 2 or 3 months before the season started. Like it was crazy. So this dude took this head coaching job, Troy Taylor, kind of last minute without notice, and didn't have much time. A lot of his pieces had transferred out, so he didn't have much to work with last year. That being said, they're second in returning production this year, so he didn't have much to work with last year, but that's all back. So at the very least, he has a lot of experience. Quarterback Ashton Daniels is back.
Yes, quarterback's back. I'm sorry, I was looking at Troy Taylor.
No, but I'm saying, like, is that do you like Daniels?
I mean, he can run in the old ACC. I think he'd be great, but I think this is a conference where you have to pass now, and I don't think he's very good at that. I was going to mention something with Troy Taylor too. If you want to know how Stanford's season went last year, they hired Troy Taylor from Sacramento State. Then they played Sacramento State and lost the game. So like that kind of just tells you what this team. I mean, this team was awful last year. So plus they were in a conference where they were kind of going to get boat raced every day. So every game. So besides the one really great moment they had last year, I didn't really like the team. And Ashton Daniels too, in that game against Colorado, he was sick. He was slinging the ball all across the field. I think that gave people kind of a connotation about him that shouldn't be. He's not a guy that can really do that. He just did that in that one game against such a bad Colorado defense.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He won't be doing that.
Not to mention, like, one of the plays was like mossing over the it wasn't.
So like I think that team kind of got overshot. I think he did too. I don't really like him. I mean, I think he's a decent quarterback, maybe he has potential, but I don't really think that this is anything. And their running backs also last year couldn't run for shit.
They're gone though. Top 2 backs
they're all
are gone,
and they couldn't run for shit. So and they didn't really improve that much. They didn't improve there at all. So I think the offense will be very stunted here.
They do have all 5 starters on the offensive line back, but like
this is always a good offensive line team. This is always a good team.
So I mean that's something that they have the starters back on the offensive line, and like Andy said, usually this is a team that's able to recruit and develop offensive linemen. Their offensive line numbers from last year are pretty bad. So you would think that they probably are the type of team that usually hits. So that offensive line, I'm sure, will be improved this year. That's something, but not really a big believer in Ashton Daniels. Both their RBs are gone. They have their top 3 receivers back. Oh, that one receiver is nice. They got.
Their top 3 receivers are back, like you said, but they leaned on the tight end a lot last year. He left. He went to Georgia. So like they did lose a lot of receivers from him. So.
All right. And I just want to get the name of that receiver. What was his name? Is it it's Iomanner. Shit. I don't know how to say his name.
I'm sure you butchered.
It's number 13. That's you know who I'm talking about if you watch Stanford. He was nice. He was the guy that mossed Travis Hunter in the Colorado game to win.
He went ballistic in that game.
Yeah, that was crazy, that play. So he's still there. All right. On the other side of the ball, they lost 5 of their top 8 defensive linemen. But, I mean, they did add a couple transfers in. They added a kid from Penn who was first team all Ivy League conference last year.
Yeah.
Something. All 3 linebackers are back, and they added a kid from Northern Iowa, so the linebackers could only be better. They lost a safety in the secondary, but other than that, everyone's back. They actually added a transfer from Washington. So defense, you'd have to say, will be improved. But again, this was a really bad defense last year.
Yeah, kind of feel the same way. Bringing in the transfer from Yale's, he's supposed to be very good. Again, that's much harder competition now, obviously. High-end transfers in the linebacking unit, but again, they have to hit on those guys. Secondary was awful, but it was, again, the Pac-12 last year where quarterbacks were slinging the ball like crazy. And I think the ACC could be similar to that, but still not quite like that. I mean, last year, I'd imagine let me look at their schedule from last year, but let's see who they had to play. I mean, they had to play Caleb Williams. They had to play Fafitas first game. Yeah, Bo Nix, Shador, Garbers at UCLA. Yeah, Penix and Ward.
DJU.
They had a brutal quarterbacks. Yeah. So this team was destined to have terrible passing numbers last year. Those will naturally go down because they're not going to be facing that much talent. They'll have to face some good teams.
They got some quarterbacks on the schedule, though. They still have to go to Notre Dame. They have to go to NC State.
Yeah, Notre Dame's not going to have as good of a passing offense this year.
No, passing offense, but it's still...
they're going to run.
They're going to be good. Anyway, let's do the win-loss game because I really don't have a ton of interest in Stanford this year. So home against TCU, I mean, that's a loss. This should be a loss, yeah.
It could be a weird game where they get caught, but they're probably not going
I
to
like
be a late.
like in an opener at home with 5 offensive linemen back. I don't like hate the idea of taking Stanford to cover the number there.
Yeah.
What's
Let
the
me look. I'm looking on ESPN now. We got 8.
8.5 at home with offensive line
I
back?
don't hate that.
I don't hate that at all, but no, that's a loss. Cal Poly's a win.
1-1.
At Syracuse,
That's a loss.
they
Tough
should.
travel on a Friday.
At Clemson,
night, so,
loss.
yeah.
Virginia Tech, loss. At Notre Dame, loss. SMU, loss. There's a win. They could beat Wake Forest.
Well, but this is the thing. Wake Forest has to win a game too. So when we say this,
nah, they're winning Wake Forest.
All right, we'll give them
At NC State, loss. Louisville, loss. At Cal, probably a loss.
Why are they playing?
Jesus.
Are they staying? And they'd have to be staying in California for that game. San Jose State at the end of the season's a win, maybe, but that's only 3 there. They'd have to win that. They'd have to.
I only
upset
have them
somebody.
at 2 with Wake Forest being the 3rd.
But
so
if you think they could beat
under.
TCU,
no, I think that the game's winnable. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like as far as like we're not asking who's going to cover the 8.5. We're
Also
asking who's going to
juice.
win. And like you would have to say TCU probably wins,
it's completely.
especially when TCU got caught napping in their opener last year.
Yeah,
I feel like
last year
there's
that
no
won't
way
happen
they'll.
again, you're
they'll-
right.
there won't. I feel like there's no way they'll let that happen again.
Yeah,
So
Hoover's a young
Under.
guy too.
thanks everyone for
Under.
watching. I'm going to my meeting my parents for my birthday dinner. So I'm going to have a steak dinner right now. So everyone be sure to bet responsibly tonight. Be back tomorrow. Oh, let me look at the MLB schedule real quick.
Only a couple of day games.
All right, so we'll just do the same time tomorrow. Maybe me and Toast will do a morning show.